Welcome to the Music Habits Podcast, episode 69.
Welcome to the Ableton and Music Habits Podcast. Actionable music production tips to take your music to the next level. And now, your host, Jason Timothy.
Hey guys, welcome back to another podcast. Today, I wanted to get into 9 things that I learned after making music for 90 days straight. This was part of an experiment that I did a number of years ago where I tried to make music for an hour a day for a full year. And it actually went really, really well. So this was the first 90 days of that experiment. And to this day, it's really helped me be able to push forward on my music projects. There's obviously times that I don't produce every day, but I know how to get back to this place. And once you've done this, it can be incredibly powerful and open up your creativity in a lot of ways. So with that, let's get into it. So to be fair, of the 90 days, I did miss 3 days, not being at my house, unable to produce, whatever. Usually I would try to do something on my phone or whatever when I was away, but other than that, I did stay committed to this practice. And this helped me finish so many songs that 90 days really feels like a long time because you actually start forgetting some of the songs that you finished. And obviously, I see that as a very good thing. And it just means that I've accomplished quite a bit with this practice. And if this is something that you've been wanting to do, here's some of the results that you can get from doing it. So number 1, you don't have to feel creative to be creative. In the past, I always thought inspiration was the precursor to doing great work. But now I can say with a lot of confidence that this is only partly true. I've done some of my best work on days that I thought I had nothing to give creatively. Knowing that I had to get my hour in for that day, I went in with an attitude of, okay, let's just get this over with. And several hours later, I came out of the session feeling really good because of what I was able to accomplish. I've learned that we are creative beings, so we can't not be creative even if we don't feel creative. It's like those days when you don't feel hungry, but once someone offers you a bite of something, you recognize that you've got a bigger appetite than you thought you did. It turns out that inspiration is a process, and it usually comes after we take that leap of faith. I found that the best way to do inspiring work is just to keep doing work. Number 2, don't marry your work. When you find yourself making music regularly, you'll most certainly have 1 or 2 songs that stand out above the rest. No matter what you make in the future, people will continue to rave about an old tune that you made. Don't get down about this. Your job isn't to make people like everything that you do. Your job is just to keep making music that you like. If you stop to try to figure out what you did in the past, it can run the risk of stopping your creative flow completely, although it doesn't hurt to reference past successes. I've found that it's best to just let whatever comes to you happen. Make it the best you can, and then move on to the next thing. Also, don't take too much time celebrating what you've done in the past. Just keep moving into the future, and you'll find yourself with a serious body of work that you can be really proud of. Number 3, don't be concerned about all the legal stuff. I've personally found legal bullshit to be a big waste of time. Creativity cannot be governed by laws or rules. Use everything as your canvas and be shameless about it. Movies, speeches, other songs, presets, sample CDs, something you overhear at a pub. It's all fair game. If you're inspired to borrow or repurpose something, that is reason enough to go ahead with it. Of course, there will be some songs that you won't be able to sell, but we shouldn't be creating strictly for money anyway. We simply express first and deal with what is marketable later. Number 4, stand on your own shoulders. You may have heard the quote, standing on the shoulders of giants. The way I interpret this is that everything we are able to do today is because of the genius that has come before us. We didn't have to invent all the creative tools that we use today, and we certainly aren't required to reinvent the wheel in order to make great things happen. Success templates are already in place, giving you some of the greatest creative advantages in history. When you make music every day, you'll soon realize you can start standing on your own shoulders. As you make more music, you will have figured out how to create that perfect kick or that great effect chain or some really groovy hi-hat rhythm. And that's awesome. That just means you've added another tool to your box that you can pull out at any time. Usually you'll tweak it to fit your current song, and oftentimes those tweaks will make the tool even better than before. So by standing on your own shoulders, you put yourself on an upward spiral, and you'll rarely have to ever start from an empty slate again. And this is something that's really helped me speed up my songwriting process enormously. Number 5, find a mentor, but trust yourself. If you're smart, you will have someone you can share your music with that will give you an honest opinion and good advice. This has helped me improve in a big way, but I've also learned to trust my instincts, even if my work isn't getting the positive feedback that I expected. No matter who is helping to guide you and offer sound advice, they are not you and simply cannot connect with everything that you do. So this isn't a bad thing. It's okay to go ahead with something because you like it, even if your friends don't. Just make sure not to let your ego get too involved. As long as you're making music, a second or third ear can be priceless to your progress, even if you don't take that advice. Number 6, off days. While doing this experiment, I have had off days and days where I just felt like I sucked. What I've found for me is that these periods typically last for about 2 or 3 days before you start to come out of it. If you've been on a wave of momentum and run into this, it can be really debilitating and sink you into a real deep depression if you aren't careful. The secret is just to keep moving forward. I tell myself that if after 5 days a song just isn't happening, I'll scrap it and start something new. But in every case in the first 90 days that I was doing this, what seemed like a dud turned into something that I was really proud of. The more you make music, the higher your standards will become. So this means that what you made 6 months ago probably isn't going to cut it for you today. You have off days because you're actually getting better. You're more sensitive to the subtleties that make music great. And sometimes that sound you're going for is just a little out of reach from your current skill set. But don't worry, you'll get there. And when this does happen, you'll have brought yourself to a whole new level, and you'll start having higher expectations of yourself. So don't worry about off days. If you've never had them, you probably haven't pushed yourself hard enough. Number 7, every day is a success. You can't worry too much about how awesome you were in today's session. The success happens the moment you sit down to do your work, instead of creating some shitty excuse not to put in the time. If you start putting in an hour a day every day, you're going to win either way, and you're going to become part of the productive elite in the field. You'll be in like the top 5% really quick. Number 8, ambient sounds can make a crappy song sound better and a good song sound great. So I discovered when a song sounds too clean, it kind of sounds amateur in a lot of cases. Now, this might be me speaking stylistically, but from my experience, some random ambience low in the background will make almost any song gel together better because it's sitting on an atmosphere instead of on top of silence. And this could be an iPhone recording while you're out on a walk or at a restaurant, or it could be some spoken word thing you found on YouTube. You can't really do this wrong. The unexpected sound sitting low in the mix will unconsciously add interest to a song that is otherwise a bit monotonous or loopy. I like whatever I use to be mostly indecipherable, so I'll often add reverb and delay to not only disguise the source, but also make it a bit more rhythmic. Having something random in your mix mixed with the more predictable can really create this beautiful balance. And number 9, you're a natural problem solver. When you hit a creative roadblock or need to figure out how something is done, your brain is far more powerful than you give it credit for. Before you dive into a tutorial, figure out which tools have the greatest likelihood of getting the job done right now. If you just take pause and let your own creativity come to the surface, you'll be amazed at the innovative yet simple techniques you come up with. Now, I'm obviously not anti-tutorials, but I am anti-overthinking things or lacking the confidence in yourself to figure things out. If you constantly search for someone else to solve your problems, you'll never build confidence by developing your own unique problem-solving skill set. So this habit that I developed is probably one of the most powerful things that I've really ever done for my creativity and for my creative journey. It's helped me learn a ton. It's helped me find my own unique skills. And it's also helped me understand that I'm never going to know everything, and that's totally okay. The things you don't know makes you just as unique as the things you do. So I hope that this helps you to find and follow your own path, and preferably do it daily. Now, if you can't do an hour a day, that's fine. Start with 15 minutes a day and see what opens up for you. But I promise you, if you sit down daily to do the work, whether you feel like it or not, it'll change your creative life forever. If you're benefiting from these podcasts, you'll absolutely love my 2 best-selling books, The Mental Game of Electronic Music Production and The Process for Electronic Music Producers. You can also check out my Ableton courses and instruments at musicsoftwaretraining.com/products. And if you're looking for personal guidance with your music production or Ableton, you could set up a free chat with me to go over exactly what your best next steps are to create the best music of your life. If this interests you, just go to musicsoftwaretraining.com/private-coaching. And with that, have a fantastic day and happy music making.